The number 21 Tennessee Volunteers are taking on the Kentucky Wildcats at home in Thompson Bowling Arena at 11 a.m. local time. It's a rivalry as both teams try to improve to over 500 in league play. Kentucky coming off just a ridiculous buzzer beater win on the road against LSU, and Tennessee coming off a much needed gritty win against the Aggies at home. Rick Barnes, Mark Pope, two coaches still trying to feel out their new squads, and two teams that are still battling for a spot in the big dance. It's early January, but it still means that much. It's a college basketball rivalry in the SEC this Saturday, and you better be ready. Two teams with a lot of history. It is the Kentucky Wildcats coming in at 11-6, 2-2 in conference play under Mark Pope's second season, and it is a Tennessee team with a similar resume coming in at 12-5 and 2-2 in SEC play. Both teams have struggled but found ways to win early in conference play. Key players in this game will be Otega Oweh. For Kentucky, he is averaging 15.8 per games, and he has been playing up to par as they've needed him. And Jacoby Gillespie, don't forget him, number 0 in orange. He is averaging 18.2 points per game, and he is trying to implant his team into the tournament and into a pretty good seeding as well. Malachi Moreno will have to be a big factor in this game. He's the one who had an insane buzzer beater against LSU to improve to 2-2 in the SEC and a much-needed win. Kentucky dug themselves a little bit of a hole in the non-conference play, looking abysmal, and it hasn't looked too much better in conference play, but man, these last two games, it's looking like a vintage Kentucky team. I'm not going to say they're back yet, but they're playing at a much better place, much better style of play, and the way Kentucky's playing right now, if they can keep this run going, they can find their way into the big dance in the most improbable fashion, but they're going to be without star freshman Jalen Lowe, who is out for this season with an injury. Who will come up to fill that void? Will it be Denzel Aberdeen? Will it be Mo Diabate? Or will it have to be Otega Oweh and Malachi Moreno carrying the load once again? And on the Tennessee side, we have a team that has just struggled early. They got dominated against Arkansas. They got dominated against Florida. But when it's mattered most at home, they've gotten dubs. Texas, they beat them 85-71, and Texas is looking like a good team right about now. And the Aggies, they win in double overtime in stunning fashion, playing more of a Rick Barnes style of play. These are two teams that I don't want to say need a win, but they really want to win. Because, coming later in February and early March, these games earlier in the conference are going to start counting a lot more as you're trying to make your push to make it into the tournament. Tennessee, can they continue to defend home court, which is going to be so vital in SEC play, or will Kentucky continue this road battle with another W? They beat LSU on the road, and now we're going to Tennessee, their rival, a huge rivalry. Tennessee got Kentucky in the last edition of this rivalry matchup in the NCAA Tournament last year. Zakai Ziegler went off, but there is no Zakai Ziegler this year, and it's a totally different Kentucky team as well. So what will we see in this game? I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to have to be a big game for Nate Ament. He's the star freshman for Tennessee. He's been struggling early, but he's kind of finding his way here recently. Against Texas A&M, he had a handful of points. I think he would score 20 plus, so it's going to have to be a Nate Ament game it's going to have to be a game where Nate Ament finds himself and gets it going. Kentucky, this is a team that, has been in close games. Can they continue to pull them out, or will Tennessee's rough and tough style play get the better of them? Kentucky has had a trouble with that, but if Kentucky can start early, get hot, get their offense going, and, go from there, I think the Wildcats are going to be hard to beat. These are two teams that are still trying to find their way in the SEC. Two teams that have historically been at the top of the SEC. Obviously, only second year under head coach Mark Pope for Kentucky, but 11th year for Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes is a historically defensive and rebounding team, and it's looking like that this year, although they've had to use a lot of offense in a lot of ways that Rick Barnes wouldn't normally play to fit this team. Rick Barnes has lost a lot of production from last year. We all knew that it was going to be tough to, kind of figure it out for him. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Rick Barnes. And the way they played against A&M on Tuesday and the way that they played against Texas can get it done. But if that team that played against Florida and got absolutely drilled, or that team would get played against Arkansas and got absolutely drilled, if they show up, then it's going to be a long night for the Vols. But these are two teams that are just going to be scrappy. It's going to be a scrappy game, I think. It's going to be a close game, I think. Kentucky had its fair share of blowouts earlier in the year, but I think now they're starting to feel it a little more. Even their loss to Missouri in the second game of SEC play was close. They probably should have won that one. Destroyed Mississippi State, and then obviously got that buzzer beater win against LSU. So it's a Kentucky team that needs to find their identity more so than they already have. And look, if it's going to be a close game, which I think it will be, the question for Tennessee is turnovers and free throws. Free throws for Tennessee have been absolutely abysmal. It feels like they try to lose every close game with just how bad they shoot free throws, and it's from every player. They've been getting a little better at it, but we're going to need to see more consistency on the free throw stripe. That's the easiest part of the game, guys. They're free shots, and if you're not getting those down, it's going to be a tough time winning, especially in conference play. Kentucky is going to need to find ways to play lockdown defense and get boards, especially in the end of this game. Tennessee has more traditional bigs, more just absolutely ruthless defenders and guys on the boards. And let's be honest here, it's at home. Tennessee likes to play rough, and they'll probably get it. It'll be a rough game. Kentucky's going to have to physically, match that. And will they do that? I don't know. So it may take a good performance from guys like Brandon Garrison and Modi Obate, guys that really haven't been too much of an impact quite yet, but they're going to need to step up if Kentucky is going to pull this one out. Look, on ESPN FPI Analytics, Tennessee has a 67% chance to win this one. It's at home. They're favored. And it said it again, and I'll say it again. In conference play, you got to win your home games, and you got to steal a couple on the road. Granted, this is a rivalry. This is a tough game in Kentucky, but Tennessee, it feels like the pressure's on you to win this one, which I think could bode well for Kentucky. Kentucky, it feels like this year, when the pressure's off of them a little bit, they've played better. Look, Kentucky had all the hype in the world coming into the season. $22 million roster, national championship picked by a lot of people. It doesn't matter now, and I think Kentucky's starting to realize that, right? So they're trying to find their identity, scratch all the expectations. And they've done that the last two games. Can they continue to do so? Continue to give Mark Pope and this Kentucky squad hope to make the tournament and, maybe make a run in there. At the end of the day, though, this game's going to come down to turnovers and defense. And that sounds cliche, but when you're playing Tennessee, that's how you have to win it. At the end of the day, when I look to pick this game, I look at a Tennessee team who wants to defend home court, who came off a big win in double overtime, and is looking to dominate at home physically, mentally, points-wise, everything. And, looking to rip the heart and soul out of the rival. But when I look at this Kentucky team, I look at a scrappy bunch who is playing with a lot of chips on their shoulders and wants to get this win to cement themselves back in the conversation for the tournament, back in the conversation for a team that could possibly make a deep run in March. So at the end of the day, when I'm picking this game, I still got to lean with the Volunteers. But don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be surprised at all if Kentucky pulls this one out. I think Kentucky is finding their way, but Tennessee at home at the Thompson Bowling Center is just another force to reckon with. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm going to pick Tennessee. I'm going to pick the Vols. I'm going to pick Rick Barnes to get their third SEC win, but by no means is it over for Kentucky. If this loss, like I said, you got to win your home games, and if Kentucky can do that, they lost one to Missouri. Not one you want to lose, but if Kentucky can do that, then you can still be in good shape. I don't know. I just don't feel like they have it in them to do this kind of road test at Tennessee, a good Tennessee team trying to find their way and just playing with a little more momentum now. And, you barely beat LSU. It's going to be harder than LSU. Okay, let's be honest. I expect Kentucky to put up a better performance than they did against LSU, but I still expect Tennessee to come out with the dub. That being said, Kentucky, you have a major opportunity this next week against Texas at home and Ole Miss at home. Those are two games it feels like you got to win. Texas has been playing better. They're a good team. Ole Miss has been playing scrappy as well, but two games it feels like you got to win. Just going to be an absolute fun, rocking environment in Knoxville, Tennessee this Saturday. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the Random SEC. Follow us on all socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and turn notifications on all Saturday long for your best updates, scores, storylines this Saturday and beyond for SEC basketball, football, and baseball. This is Random SEC. See ya.